Assalamu alaikum. My name is Abbas Naqvi, and I'll be the first speaker from my group. And after that, I'll be followed by Umar Shah and Mohammad Shabir. So the topic that we have selected today for our assignment is type of unethical behavior discussed. Okay, this is my first heading. So the topic today that I have selected is harassment and discrimination in workplace. Throughout Pakistan, there are many organizations in which several employees are harassed and discriminated throughout their month on the basis of their facial features or their skin tones or their religion, their caste, their creed. In Pakistan, this is a very common thing because the most common examples that we can find in government or public or private institutions is that someone is being discriminated for being Pathan or being Punjabi or for being Sunni or for being Shia. Discrimination is present in Pakistan throughout Pakistan, and other than that, harassment has been quite a thing nowadays because there have been many cases and incidents in the past week as well that I'm going to discuss further in my argument. Other than that, the second heading that I will be following up is the fact that brings upon employees and in the environment of the organization. So let's say that if someone is being harassed or is being discriminated in an organization, they will never be at ease working there in their organization. The organization and the environment of that organization would have a certain negative aura that would never put their mind at ease. Their mental health will be at risk. They'll never be working properly. Other than that, if for example their mental health and their the vibes of the organization or the environment is not proper for the employee, they'll never be giving their best. So that would mean that there will be less productivity, which will in turn lead to less profit earning, which will in turn lead to destruction of the company and as whole. So now I'll obviously give some examples which was required for a project as well. The example that there are several examples for this topic that we have selected, discrimination and harassment. But the main one is one example that that incident that took place a few weeks ago. It was regarding a manager and his subordinate, a female co-worker of his, and he was sexually harassing him, and he was caught on camera by some customers at the bank. It was taking place at Faisal Bank, African Marcus, Islamabad. I remember that. And after a few weeks, he was arrested. But the thing is that when people say that harassment and discrimination is not real thing, it's a false excuse to come over with to hide your failures. Well, it's not true exactly. The thing is that these things happen, but most of the time that these incidents are never reported. They're hidden by the organization itself, by the higher management, to save the reputation of the company or the firm. But this example of Faisal Bank, where the manager was harassing his subordinate female worker. Uh, to be to be very clear, he was actually harassing her, and he was arrested a week later. So these things are not really fake. Well, they do exist, and after me, Mohammad Shah will continue with telling the drawbacks of discrimination and harassment. Thank you so much.
My name is Syed Umar Ali, and my topic is about the drawbacks that the organization faces this issue. And number two is discussing similar situations worldwide, and number three is recommendation to resolve the issue. The number one is drawback that the organization faces this issue. The drawback that an organization faces because of the issue is mainly less productivity. The reason that less productivity is a drawback for the organization is because if there is less productivity and there will be less profit earning. Obviously, you all know that if there is less productivity, there will be less earning. The second point is the next major drawback is the bad environment. If there is bad environment, there is also a main discrimination in workplace. If there is if there is a discrimination in a workplace, the environment of the workplace is effective and not considered to the healthy environment for any type of work. The main and number three drawback is poor team coordination. If there is a poor team coordination, there is an element of discrimination and harassment is in a workplace. The team coordination and the teamwork would and the teamwork would be nil. which would lead to less productivity. The number two point is discussing similar situation worldwide. As we know that there is a western in the western country, the element of discrimination is very prominent, like racial discrimination of black and white is one of the major issues faced in western countries. And the other is the surprising that the female co-worker and harassing them is an other issue that female worker face is different in workplaces. And number three, the main and the major, the to resolve the issue, the recommendations to resolve the issue. The first recommendation that is would like to recommend is to make discrimination laws and policies to make a check on each employee, just like the issue that took place in Faisal Bank. You all know that. And would have to place if there is have good discrimination laws and harassment policies. Other than this, there is a proper punishment and guilty employees should be fined. And the number third participant is Mohammad Shabir. Okay.
Assalamu alaikum. So my name is Mohammad Shabir and my topic is supporting the recommendations, and my group topic is unethical harassment and discrimination at workplaces. So my group member Umar mentioned some points regarding recommendations to resolve the issue. uh, so Omar mentioned three main points, and so first point is discrimination law and policies, and second one is to keep an eyes on employees, and third one is punish those employees who involved in these crimes. So I completely agreed with Omar perspective of making our discrimination law in every organization, as this would keep a check balance on employees and their activities, and in turn this would be profitable for organizational itself, and because if there are less violators, that means that the productivity of organization is booming. My second and my last point is point of view and conclusion. And according to me, all the point discussed above are valid in real life, where places just like Faisal Bank in Islamabad and many other organizations. So most of the time, the incidents are not reported, but they affect the mental health of the employees and organization and the environment of the organization. So we should realize and consider this issue to be a very unethical issue in any organization, and the violator should be punished no matter what their position